Hey everyone. If we've never met, my name's Corey. I'm the pastor of student ministries at Gateway Church in Parksburg, Pennsylvania. And I want to take a few minutes today to talk to you about prayer, about momentum, and about how your church should be praying for students as they head to momentum. First of all, I'm so excited that you're going to be joining us at Momentum. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. I hope it's one of your favorites as well. And so when we're thinking about this idea of calling your church to pray for students at Momentum, we really want you to push this. We want your whole church thinking about Momentum and the students that are going and how they can better be praying for them. And so the first question we might need to ask is why? Why do we want our churches praying for kids as they go? Why do we want everybody to be praying that's connected to your church for kids as they go? And the reason is really because we expect God to move that week. As we think about momentum and plan different things that go on there, we expect God to show up, and we expect this week to be a week where students look back and see a change that happened in their lives because they spent a week at Momentum. And so when we think about a moment or a time when we expect God to move and do great things, we want to bathe that time in prayer. We want it to be something that's on our hearts and minds, and that we're bringing the desires of our heart to God as we move towards that week. So that's why we want your churches to be praying for students as they head to Momentum. How? How should they be praying? I don't know what your experience has been, if you've been to Momentum before, but as someone who's brought students to Momentum numerous times, I've brought a lot of kids with a lot of different baggage with me. I've brought kids who have been struggling with things like bullying or depression. I've brought students who have struggled with same-sex attraction. I've brought students who have struggled with the recent suicide of their parent. And so when students come in, they bring a certain set of baggage with them. And so we need to be praying for the walls that may have been built up in their hearts, the sin they might be bringing with them, for God to cut through those things, and that He would cause spiritual growth to happen in their lives. That the walls that they build against God or leaders or parents or whoever it might be, that they would just fall, and that our students would meet Jesus at Momentum. And that's how our churches should be praying, that no matter where they come from, our students would be ready to meet Jesus that week. So how should your church be doing this? How can you help your church do this? Something that I've done over the last couple of years, and I will do again this year, is I've really tried to connect a face with a name for students that are going to Momentum to the other adults or families who don't have a student going to Momentum. And so this year I'll be creating prayer cards for our students. So every student, I hope, will get one family or one adult who's praying for them, starting over the next month and going all the way through the time that we're at Momentum. And so they'll get some momentum on praying, and they'll be prayed for a few months, and including the week of Momentum. And so I've had some really cool stories where adults, even in our church today, have gotten, in the past, they've connected that face. They've been praying for that student, and that student is still now on their prayer list. That student could be at college, they could be working somewhere, but they've just stayed on that adult's prayer list. And so that's a younger person that is still being invested in by someone in our church. So as the youth leader that's bringing students to Momentum, we would love for you to be the one who calls your church to rally around your students as they head to Momentum. There's thousands of students coming, there's thousands of people in churches that are sending, and we want everyone to be bathing Momentum in prayer, because if we can have thousands of people praying for Momentum and for these students as they come, and we expect God to move in their lives, God will do amazing, amazing things. So would you partner with us and call your church to pray for your students as they head to Momentum?